They don't argue, they don't explain, they go quiet, and something closes inside. You don't notice it immediately. You feel it later. Distance, without anger. Silence, without rejection. Nothing looks broken, nothing sounds hostile, but the boundary was crossed long before you realized it. And now, access is gone. This is why INFJ, INTJ, INFP, and INTP shut down when pressure hits their inner world. Not loudly, not dramatically, but completely. They don't fight the pressure. They remove themselves from it. Because their boundaries are not walls. They are internal architectures. And once that structure is breached, withdrawal becomes automatic. INxx types don't protect space, they protect coherence. Their inner world is not emotional chaos, it is ordered, structured, quietly maintained. Meaning, values and logic are held internally, not negotiated externally. So when pressure appears, they don't react outward. They seal inward. Not to punish, not to manipulate, but to preserve internal autonomy. This is the part most people miss. Silence is not absence, it is containment. With INTJs, the boundary is strategic. You question their plan, once, twice, repeatedly. You frame it as collaboration. They experience it as interference. At first, they respond, briefly, precisely. Then something shifts. They stop engaging, not emotionally, but cognitively. The conversation doesn't end out loud. It ends inside their head. They withdraw to reassert control, not over you, but over the internal system. Because when coherence is threatened, the system closes. With INFJs, the boundary is relational. You push for emotional access before trust has fully formed. You want clarity, you want closeness, you want immediacy. They respond with kindness, with patience, with warmth. But something closes. They don't confront you. They don't disappear. They simply remove depth. You are still present, but no longer inside. Because their boundary doesn't block people, it filters intimacy. And once crossed too quickly, that filter tightens. With INFPs, the boundary is moral. You dismiss a value as impractical, idealistic, unrealistic. You think you're being reasonable. They feel invalidated. They don't argue. They don't defend. They withdraw quietly. The emotional atmosphere thins. The connection loses oxygen. Because their inner world is built on values, not efficiency. And when a value is stepped on, distance restores integrity. With INTPs, the boundary is cognitive. You demand conclusions, decisions, immediate answers. You push for closure before clarity is complete. They disengage mid-conversation. Not rudely, not obviously. The body stays. The mind exits. Because their boundary protects internal logic. And forced conclusions fracture the structure they rely on. INTJ and INFJ lead with introverted intuition, NI. NI seeks internal coherence, a unified internal map. Pressure disrupts meaning. So when meaning destabilizes, the system shuts down to protect alignment. INFP leads with introverted feeling, FI. FI protects personal values, internal moral truth. Invalidation feels invasive. Withdrawal restores self-consistency. INTP leads with introverted thinking, TI. TI maintains internal logic, precision, conceptual clarity. Forced conclusions break the model. So disengagement preserves structure. This is not fragility. It's containment. Across all INxx types, the pattern repeats. Boundaries are invisible, not verbal. Withdrawal replaces confrontation. Pressure accelerates shutdown. Access is revoked internally, not announced. And once the boundary closes, repair is slow. Because rebuilding happens inward first. This is where misunderstandings begin. INxx types are called distant, cold, unresponsive. But the withdrawal isn't rejection. It's protection. They are not pulling away from you. They are pulling back into themselves. Misreading this leads to escalation. More pressure, more demands, more intrusion, which only deepens the shutdown. In relationships, this dynamic silently erodes trust. Partners feel shut out. INxx types feel invaded. Neither side names the boundary, both feel misunderstood. Without awareness, connection turns into distance. Without conflict, without closure. At work, the cost is different. INxx types are mistaken for disengaged, uncooperative, slow. But what's really happening is internal recalibration. Pressure without autonomy kills contribution. Respect for boundaries restores effectiveness. Over time, INxx types learn to over-isolate. They preemptively withdraw to avoid intrusion. Autonomy becomes safety. Safety becomes distance. Understanding boundaries is how isolation becomes optional, not automatic. Growth doesn't mean removing boundaries. It means making them legible. When INxx types learn to externalize limits early, withdrawal becomes choice, not reflex. They remain autonomous, they remain intact. But connection becomes possible. A door doesn't close to punish what's outside. It closes to preserve what's within. For INxx types, the boundary is the self. If this made sense to you, you're already part of this work.